very much. And now we move to the public forum. So welcome, we've got two groups today who get 5 minutes each for public forum to raise issues. So the first one is on Barrington Mall. So Jill Kearns, welcome you to the table. Thanks very much for coming along today and raising this for us.
Thank you for having me. Dear councillors, today I'm presenting you with a suggested bylaw for your consideration, which I have outlined below. The intent is to eradicate the ongoing issue with beggars lingering and basing themselves on council property. The recommendation is for council to put in place a bylaw whereby no begging can take place near or at public entrance to businesses and all council-owned community facilities. The main reason for this bylaw to be introduced are public health and safety, allowing the community to enjoy our community facilities without being harassed, intimidated or verbally abused, the eradication of potential traffic incidents involving members of our community, general safety of our community, and likewise the safety of the individual beggars. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I know that the issue goes beyond begging to that antisocial behaviour, so that's really important. Do we have any questions? We've got time for one question. Anne?
Thank you for your presentation, and realise that it's an ongoing issue for you. And I see that Gary's sitting with you, so I'm wondering if you've had conversations about how this is being approached in the inner city.
Gary and I have actually spoken because it is a problem actually Christchurch wide. Today I've got two hats on. I've got my hat on as a member of our community, but also I am the centre manager of Barrington Shopping Centre, and I see this being an issue right across the city at every shopping centre, but also other strip shopping as well. So Gary and I have spoken about it. It's a growing issue.
That's great. And now that we do have the timer up, there is a bit more time, so Mike.
Look, thanks for your deputation, and obviously we're seeing the issues of antisocial behaviour. My question is actually not to you, it's more to staff, because when we passed the public places bylaw, we made a resolution in there to actually request staff to investigate regulatory mechanism in regards to antisocial nuisance behaviour. And I just haven't heard any update of what happened to that, and that was actually a number of years ago. So I'd sort of like to know, because if we had that tool, in our toolkit, we may be able to do something actually where there is a nuisance behaviour actually occurring. So I'm just wondering if we can get an update on actually that resolution that was passed by council a number of years ago.
So I would probably have to go back and check. It may have been the proposal that when Paul Lonsdale was a councillor, he had put up.
No, it was the hearings panel that I chaired. So it was last term, and it was passed by council to actually investigate this. But I haven't seen any update of actually what happened with that. I would chase it up with policy unit. I'm not sure where it is.
Okay, so Yanni, have you got a question for Jill or a question for staff?
Probably both, but just probably first to Jill. Thank you for the deputation. Have you contacted the police, and if so, what's their response been?
We've exhausted all avenues. Look, our shopping centre is privately owned, so whenever we have a beggar, we trespass them from our property. Our property is not the issue; it's the issue out on the footpath and all other council facilities. That's why I'm suggesting this bylaw, because at the end of the day, the police cannot enforce anything until you pass a bylaw, because legally they are not doing anything wrong. The problem being is there's probably a dozen or so people. They are not homeless. Unfortunately, they're feeding a habit. They're not very nice people, and we don't want these people in our community doing what they're doing. Why should we have to put up with it? They're saying they're homeless and they need food, but actually they're not. And no one needs to be homeless in our city. We all know that.
It might be helpful to get like where they actually where they are. Are they?
Well, the police they know exactly where they are. They know the people, they know what they do a circuit of the city, they have someone drop them off in a car. The police have all that information.
Right.
Okay, so we will take this offline because we've got to the sort of the end of not enough time for a full question and answer, and we've got some other constraints this morning.
Yeah.
So Gary, you'll chase up on the
Absolutely.
regulatory thing that Councillor Davidson talked about,
Yes.
and if you want to send something through.
I just think I'd like to suggest that we have a briefing to actually look at this together as a citywide issue and look at what's actually happening, what we are doing and what we can do.
Yeah, we'll take it offline
Can
and
we do that?
organise something to do. Yeah.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank you
you
so much for coming in, Jill. Next up we have the Sydenham Heritage Trust. So we've got David Rankin coming to speak, and people have been given an A3 piece of paper and some other bits and pieces with some information from the trust there. So welcome. Unfortunately, it's only a 5-minute slot, but we do have a lot of additional information too. So if you'd like to sort of highlight the key points that you're really keen to make today.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm David Rankin, and I've been authorised by the trustees to make this presentation, and I'm supported by Chair Dorothy Hayward and other trustees, so I thank you for the opportunity. On the 27th of April 2001, the Trust was formed in cooperation with the Council to restore the former Heritage Church, which was acquired by the Trust in Sydenham with the support and assistance of the Council, including a mortgage of $412,500. In an email dated the 18th of October, Councillor Sue Wells stated, "Good news, the church is insured," and that was 2010. She also stated the loan has been written off in the council books. This means the council does not expect payment for it, but if the property was to be sold, for example, the loan would have to be repaid. History shows that the church was demolished without authorisation following the 2011 earthquake, after the Trust had spent considerable funds on restoration and much work, including re-roofing, of over $750,000. The insurance was arranged by Council through its associate, Civic Insurance, which proved to be totally inadequate, providing an insurance settlement of $334,000 plus GST, which was paid to Council as mortgagee. Funds from this have been made available to the Trust to help with the site clean-up and saving of stonework and historical items, leaving just over $206,000 available in credit. On the 11th of March last year, the Trust wrote to the Council requesting financial support of $500,000 spread over 2 years to release the insurance funds held and to waive council charges to help facilitate the erection of a replacement building to go on the site for a museum, meeting room, plus cafeteria, incorporating original stonework and stained glass windows. I think you will agree that the plan as shown on the screen and provides an exciting opportunity to create an entrance statement for the commencement of the main Sydenham commercial area as set out in the project rationale provided. Your support for this project is a continuation of the partnership established between Council and the Trust in 2001. This project, if one looks at the objectives of this committee, would provide a strong sense of community, active participation in civic life, safe and healthy communities, celebration of our identity through arts, culture, heritage, sport and recreation, valuing the voices of all cultures because it would be made available to all in all ages, and it would be building, as part of the strategic priorities, enabling active and connected communities to assist with their future. We have a lot of support for this project and free engineering, and we believe that the amount that's being requested of Council to help facilitate this project is a very small amount compared with what similar other facilities have cost over the years. The Sydenham community is growing immensely with infill housing. And it's known that, and recently reported, that 1 in 13 people in our community have anxiety issues. So the more we do to strengthen our resilience in our community, the better our community will be for the future. Already this site has been developed and there's car parking associated with it, and the subdivision has taken place, and the trust is expected to have some funds on hand. But we consider that this is a very appropriate project to justify council support, and so we ask that you consider favourably providing the funding that we've requested spread over 2 years, which will be the 2022 and 23 years. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much for coming and updating us on that today. We've run out of time for questions, but we will request some staff advice on all the issues that you've raised and make sure that comes back to us as well, so that we can be fully informed and up to date on that process.
Can it clarify how much they want again? Because it got a bit convoluted with the loan. How much are you needing?
We were seeking $500,000, and we'd prefer it as a grant, but if you wanted to make it a loan, we've even suggested in the proposal that you have before you with the papers that we're happy to transfer the property to the council and take a lease back on it, the same as what happened when in 1979, when the Old Stone House was developed. I was actually involved in that project at the time.
Thank you very much. What we'll do is we'll request staff advice back on all of those issues and the processes and the stage of the application at the moment. All right? Thanks, Pauline. Thank you very much for coming along.
Thank you.
Just a quick question, Sam or John, are you able to get that advice through? I don't know, is there an application actually in the process, is there?
Yeah, we have done some work with the trust, and we probably will be in a position to get advice across. We'll have a closer look and get back to you.
Yeah, so that'd be great. Thank you very much. Okay.